What's up mga parekoy? So this is our second part in our trolley tour. Ngayon, dito tayo sa waterfront. Enjoy!
Little known fact, there always also the capital of Massachusetts not once, but twice. And every time a new governor would come here from England, he'd take the charter and drag it back into Boston. Well, the second time I think what happened is we said, look, if you like it that much, just keep it. We don't mind. You can have the gold dome, you can have the politicians. This used to be a regular stream with people like
Naantok ka na? Punta ka dito kay mami para makahiga ka.
That's when they made it into a walking mall. You got the idea. We have some entertainment today. Roger Conant, the statue, the guy in the statue back there, he came to Plymouth, Massachusetts in 1622. He could not get along with the Puritans down in Plymouth, which was no surprise, because guess what? So he gets an invitation from a local minister to go up Monte here to town of Gloucester, try to salvage a fishing village. He had nothing better to do, so his wife and family joined him, and they went up there. They gave it a great try, but it was the wrong thing at the wrong time, in the wrong place. So we got them all back from the ship, and they sailed south 16 miles, landed about 1.25 miles in that direction, where they were greeted by a bunch of friendly Indians called the Nunkeg, N-A-U-N-K-E-A-G, who taught them how to plant corn and lima beans, mix the two together to make succotash, how to harvest clams, how to build a little woody huts to keep them warm. Now you see that great big building right there? It used to be a commercial laundry building right there, behind the smoke shop today. Today it's condominium. See that building on the left? That used to be the police station and the courthouse. Today it's condominium. Looking for a condominium. I'm the anybody over there by Parker Brothers in Chicago because they made a Boston. That house right there is where Hot Dog met his wife, who was the youngest of the three Peters brothers. This is the oldest burial point in Salem right here. We have marked graves going back to 1637. One of the most famous people who's buried there is John Haythorne.
Anong meron dyan, Travis? Plants vs. Zombies?
His name may sound familiar to you. It should, because he's the great-great-grandfather of Nathaniel Montauk. Now, Nathaniel chose to add a W to his last name when he was a student at Bowdoin College, trying to put some space between him and his infamous great-great-grandfather. But I make it a point to tell everybody, because he shouldn't get over that. That's crazy. They haven't walled off because they're doing a significant amount of repair there. They just put a brand new spectacle walkway in there. Going on the left is the Chinese house that was taken out of Shanghai, China area. In 86 shipping crates put all back together again, attached to the back of the DVD as this beautiful. On the right we have the Pittman House, circa 1660. We think it's actually older than that. And behind it is the Witch Trial Memorial dedicated in 1992 by Ellingham and Holocaust survivors. You see the trees standing in the middle of a rectangular area, low granite walls. Those trees are the very same kind of trees that we used to hang 19 of the 20 victims, 14 of which were female, 5 of which were male. The 20th victim was a fellow named Giles Corey. 3 times he was accused of being a witch and refused to enter a plea until they finally came to his house, dragged him across the street, put him in a vacant field, put boards across his chest, and for 2 days kept putting bigger and bigger rocks on top of the board, trying to press a confession out of him, which was perfectly. See the red brick house on the left, that's where Brigham's eldest daughter stayed when she came to go to school here. See the plaque has more words per square inch than anything I've ever seen. That's basically all the plaque tells you. That's where Brigham Young's daughter stayed. Well, the Bell family was so impressed they became Mormons and moved to Utah.
Mami, Brigham Young?
Hotline Boulevard.
Diba? Brigham Young? Doon daw siya tumira.
Lydia E. Kingston, years ahead of her time, felt that women needed some pills for pale ladies, guaranteed them a little color in your teeth. And she had a liquid vegetable tonic that she claimed would cure just about anything from dandruff to falling out. Right? It was a huge sell, right? Well, the federal court cocaine. Now, needless to say, she had to change her formula, but here's the good news. She's back on the market today. If you're a Prime, Amazon Prime customer, you get free shipping. But when you get it home, check the package, because now on the bottom, tiny print, you know what it says? No longer in the original formula. Oh, God. Here's the Waterfront Hotel that opened about 15 years ago. My wife was working the front desk at the time. They rushed to get it open for Halloween, and guess what? Half the rooms didn't have heat. There was no water in the swimming pool, no exercise equipment in the exercise room, and they opened it.
Bells, do you want to come here?
On 2 floors of condominiums that people paid over $800,000. But you can buy one today for $550. There you go. See how she gets it? Just you heard the price you go. Now this is Pickering Lawn, named after Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Pickering, a war hero during George Washington's army. On the second and third floors, we have those things called condominiums. And on the ground floors, we have lovely selection of shops and chambers of horror. A lot of things associated with witchcraft.
Yeah.
There's a lovely shop here, Salem Spice, that has more spices than I would want to talk about. And this whole building here is nothing but olive oil. So you put the olive oil together with the spices, you get the beginning of a real nice pizza.
Olive oils.
With spice.
Some of the stores still do. Additional water for the dog. Restaurants, we got longboards right here. This features lots of features, but there are lots of rules. They're big, like outdoor dining or al fresco. There's a new one going to be moving in across the room over there. It's going to be a hibachi restaurant. Yeah. Wait for that back. There's 2 fine seafood restaurants here. That's Sea Level over there, which is technically that's where our stop is. And over here is Finn's. Now Finn's used to be in that building, but they moved over here. Again, open air dining. You gotta look at the harbor. This is Salem Harbor. The beautiful ship you see over yonder is the Friendship. It's a replica of the original Friendship. The original Friendship sailed out of here in the 1700s, went around the world about 13 times. It was captured by the British, that's the last we saw of it. But we had the plans at the BVD Essex Museum and the National Park Service borrowed them long enough to have duplicated and scared over $1. We took delivery in 1990 at 3 times 6. You want to stop here? Hold on, they want to get up. I'm sorry, we should have asked for the barrel, or we should have sampled the contents. That's the perfect thing for a school. However, if you'd like to buy the tackiest t-shirts available in San Antonio, they have them. They'll be able to relate to a national flag. Made one in 1935.
Wow.
We have 3 wharfs left. Originally, we had over 50 wharfs. When we were the busiest seaport in America for nearly 100 years, up to the War of 1812. But that's when the clipper ship was invented. It was too big to get into our little shallow harbor, so all our maritime trade went elsewhere, beyond Boston, Philadelphia. We were out of the maritime business almost overnight. And that's when we jumped into the Industrial Revolution and built big white buildings like that one over yonder, which was the second largest steam cotton mill in America until it moved to South Carolina. Now the remaining wharfs are Derby Wharf, the big one, where the ship is tied out. And at the very end of it, you see a lighthouse. That's Derby Light. It's 27 feet tall. One of 3 lights that bring you in to Salem Harbor. There's also Hatcher's Wharf and Central Wharf. The Crotchfield Philly right there, Captain Crotchfield's son, when that became the Secretary of the Navy, I believe. And then we have the 3rd and final customs house right here where the TAGALOG once worked. Before he was a famous author, he was a starving author. He was a collector of taxes. He had a little office and left in the front door there. And he sat at that little desk and he wrote the scarlet letter on duty. And he inspired for a writing books on company time. A couple of really nice restaurants here. Witch's Brew right here. Oh, this house built back in the 1660s. It was the oldest freestanding wooden mansion in America. Sits way back there. You can see the chimney sticking up behind the flag over there. That's the house. She opened it for tourism, making it the first tourist attraction in Salem, which is why we call her the mother of tourism, or the mother of October traffic. Take your pick. She used all the proceeds from the settlement house to fund the settlement house right across the street, the Red Brick Building, which offered a warm welcome to immigrants. They found them places to live and work, got them health care, and taught them English, all right? Now that's still happening, but not there. You know why? That's condominiums. You see the trend here? The a recurring theme during this trip. Now, how many kids we got back there? I'm going to say this politically. See that nice gray building with the black signage? If you can read the sign, you know what it is. It's the world's oldest, this country's oldest candy store.
Candy!
Oh my God. If you
Oldest-
never come back to any place in Salem,
Oldest
you have to
candy.
go there. Right?
And the world?
Yes.
Oh, they have chocolate turtles.
Whoa! Oldest
They have
Oldest
root
candy
beer
store.
barrels. They have honey and horehound drops. They have anything and everything. The two famous candies are the Rocket Gibraltar and the Blackjack. Now the Rocket Gibraltar is a lemon peppery candy that's really hot, right? They had some on display there one time. They said it was 124 years old and still edible. How they proved that, I want to know. The Blackjack looks like a candy cane set with mostly molasses. So if you buy a bunch of that, don't eat too much before you leave because it goes right to the bottom line. That street right there leads down to a ferry boat that starts operating in the middle of May, we hope. Goes into Boston, takes about 25 minutes. It's a 150 passenger catamaran called it's owned by the city of Salem, but operated by Washington. That's interestingly enough. Well, after the war, we used to have, this was boatyard right here. We built 1/3 of all the new ships here in America at the time. Smaller than the European version, but a lot better built, a lot bigger. Lanes up, which is what way on the right is our brand spec, well, not the longer brand spanking, but relatively new power plant. It opened a couple, 3 years ago. It replaced the original power plant, which was 50 units.
Power plant. Maybe it's the power plant.
So 2 or 3 times a year they have to power wash the neighbors' houses just to keep them safe, right? Well, the environmentalists managed to get it closed. They replaced
Travis,
it with
ayan ba
this
yung
one,
basketball
which
court?
burns natural gas.
Yeah,
So
ito.
all the neighbors are
Ayan o.
relatively okay.
We're now here in Winter Island.
The city state is very wealthy industrialists with almost as much as employees a lot because it's looking right at the biggest and oldest saltwater swimming pool in America. He built it by putting a wall across the entrance to the cove, and then he
wow.
put a valve housing, that little square building with the pipe sticking up. And the way it worked is at high tide, he'd open the valve and let the saltwater in. Shut the valve so people can go swimming and diving and so forth. I've seen pictures of hundreds of people down here on an August day. We call them the dog days of August or the Aunt Days, whatever you want to call it.
Swimming pool daw yan, mami,
And
dati?
guess what?
No,
It
swimming
was
pool,
going
no.
like crazy until just before the Second World War, with the Coast Guard arrived to build an air base out here.
Oldest swimming pool.
And they decided that the city had to close this because it was a security risk. And
Ito
the
daw eh,
city
gusto mo
did.
makita, yan o.
And it stayed closed until it was acquired by Salem State University. Now they teach all their maritime courses over in that red brick building. But I'm very happy to add that during the last 10 or 12 years, they have managed to raise over 2 million baby soft-shell clams each year in that pool. Now, they start with a baby clam no bigger than a speckled fly. And they grow to the size you thumb, and then the opposite. They put the existing clam beds up in Essex and Ipswich, Massachusetts. 2 local towns that are widely recognized as the
Yeah, it's cold here, it's cold.
well, we don't want to get that, but technically a lot of them are very born here, so they really are sailed playing. You have to have a clam before you leave. If you can't cheat, have those clam strips. You have to have the one with big fat belly or else it doesn't count. Now we go through the gate. You see the Coast Guard left years ago. Now this is a campground. And as soon as we get all these boats back in the water, there'll be plenty of room to pitch a tent, as you can see. We have shower and toilet facilities here for the tenters. We have a couple of pavilions, one's outdoor, one's indoor. If you are a tenter, you might like to know that that site right there, number 40 with the little barbecue pit, that is the site of the last public hanging in Salem. It had nothing to do with the witch trials. This was years later. Young boy, 16 years old, stole a horse, burned the barn down the way out. They caught him right there. Used to hang the pirates out here too, but way down by the water, so ships don't get out of the house.
They hung pirates here.
Pirates.
Like what kind of hang?
Hey, they kill.
Like
Take a look right hand side. The big building here is a hangar building. There's only 2 of these left that were built by the Coast Guard. The other one's in Miami. They say it's a great
For sale, mami.
Shelby people like
For sale.
we're waiting for federal funds.
Uwi tayong Pilipinas. Laki, Tommy, oh. Gusto mo bumili?
The water buffers on May 1st. We have a very short boating season here. Most of them don't even insure these until May 1st. They spent all this time fixing and painting and so forth. Look to your right, that's Inner Harbor. The big white building at the end, the old mill.
Wow.
Salem Harbor right there. This river right here is called the South River. There are 3 rivers that flow through Salem. This is the South River. South of here is the Forest River. North of here is the North River. Across the way is the town of Marblehead, Massachusetts. You may have heard of it. You ever started painting the Spirit of 76, the piper and the drummer walking along? It's in the town hall in Marblehead. It broke off from Salem, as did 26. It was all of Salem, all of Marblehead, lots of Linden, Swampscott, Peabody, Danvers, Topsfield, Hamilton, Wenham, and Beverly. That was all Salem. The first people to leave were the drunken sailors from Marblehead. They didn't get stung with their flames. 1630. Very wealthy town today. A lot of interesting and notable people living here, like Peter Lynch from the Galilee's Magellan Fund. And there's a guy named Van Otterloo that has more paintings. Very fancy paintings that ain't like some Rembrandt specifically. We have a British fort right behind us that was built in 1640 to protect us from invasion from Spain or Spanish pirates. And guess what? Neither one ever showed up. It was a total waste of money. The lighthouse here is called Pickering Light. This is now called Fort Pickering because we beat the British. We gave it our own name. It was originally called Fort William and then Fort Anne.
Oh, Fort William and Fort Anne.
Walk around, especially if you got a dog. It's a little bigger than it looks from this vantage point, but it goes back that one ways. This road led to a drawbridge over a moat. Now the moat on the right side is completely filled in with reeds. But if you come up a little further, you can see the moat on this side, which is filled with fresh water. There's a spring under it, right here.
Yeah, my spring
Keep looking to your
Spring
left,
water.
You'll see a sign that tells you just arrived at Waikiki Beach. That's me, it's the end of that walkway.
Our own Waikiki Beach.
Waikiki Beach, one of 3 that we're aware of. The original Honolulu. The 3rd one's in Perth, Australia. Australia? Yeah, but they have a Miami Beach as well. Who knew? Also, guys and gals back there, little ones, take a look out. You might see a brown dog. We used to call him Chucky. He usually hangs over here. Great big brown one. Well, a couple of years ago, Chucky showed up surrounded by a whole bunch of little Chuckies. So we figured, oh, we gave him the wrong name. I was selected to give him its new name, which I did. And the new name is Caitlin, as in Caitlin Jenner. I'll work it out. About the 4th floor, it'll be a real winner, yeah. See a beautiful building to your right? That was Caroline Thomas. That is so. Can you believe it?
Wow.
She was elevated into a document. Because she was
Ang lamig, grabe. Sobrang lamig.
Ito, kinigilaw siya, oh.
It's still happening. It's a non-profit today. They do fundraisers. They have a paddleboard event that they do that raises money. And once or twice a year, we donate a trolley. drink coffee books now. We give them a little bit of cheese and crackers and a whole bunch of wine, and they write these big checks. Everybody leaves happy. Say hello to the sleeping clams. Hello, sleeping clams. You might see one doing a backstroke every once in a while. They're also raising tilapia. That's the new thing. They're considering it as a local food fish. Now, have you had tilapia? Not gonna work. I saw them in the tanks and there's like a million on one tank. What do you do over these? Ugly little gray things. I don't think they taste like scrap.
History. Masyadong rich sa history ang
This is
Salem.
Columbus Ave was developed by the church up in Low Lawrence. It's just been 10 lots, but they had a Bible meeting. Eventually people...
Travis.
They had to buy 2 or 3 10 lots to build one house. Because the 10 lots were really small. We're coming down into a lovely area down here. And for the people who don't live in the water like we do, look what they miss out on. Right? Twice a day, you see this water out here? Twice a day, you see that water completely disappears. You come back here in about 5 hours, there won't be any water here at all. None. All the way up to the breakwater on the far left. It takes 6 hours and 20 odd minutes for it to completely disappear. And then it starts coming back, and it takes roughly 6 hours and 20 minutes to come back.
So nawawala daw yung tubig dyan mga pare ko eh.
Typically 9 to 12 feet. But you see these big bags over here with stuff in them? There's an opening right there. And we have these strange storms in the wintertime called nor'easters. Noted for their high winds and high tides, extremely high tides. Twice last year, they put water to the top of those porches right across the street. Now, what that means is, if you live in one of these lovely houses, that's not good news. See the guy, the big greenhouse on the left here, he lost 2 furnaces and 2 hot water heaters. And the guy right next door lost a house. Well, here's the story. It was damaged, but not really tremendous. But he was standing there talking to some guy. The guy said, well, I'm taking off your hands right now. The guy said, so. The new water began to turn down immediately, forgetting one important thing. You're supposed to have a
Wala yan sa atin.
And apparently one of the days is blue for this one. And I took
Baha ng San Pedro, iba rin po.
We're coming out to a section of Salem called Salem Willow. The United States and the British were nice enough to give us 200 willow trees. And they did so because they found out we had a chronic care tuberculosis hospital, just as like they did. And they discovered if they put the patients under the willow trees, it seemed to help them breathe easier. So we planted the trees everywhere. Now a lot of them are gone because the winds came out. At one point, a full-blown amusement park right here with a little steam train. Lovely restaurants, even some hotels back in the day. Still a great place to come. There's a bandstand down there where they do concerts. A beach, a walk or a pier where you can fish off it. That's North River, the other side is the city of Beverly. A little further up is the Gold Coast. One of our presidents, William Howard Taft, had his summer lighthouse for 3 or 4 years. But not all 4, because the social service wanted no further about him or his kids. I guess they were a piece of work. But this is the president that was so large, he was the stuck in that. But he posted it for 3 years. How do you tell him not to go back? She couldn't figure it out. So you know what she did? She took her house. She put the entire house in a car, floated it around the Marblehead, and put it on a piece of board just to make sure he did. Now in Dead Horse Beach, it got its name because in 1914, June 25th, we had a 2.5-day long fire that burned down 1/3 of Salem. It started in an area called Lumber Hollow, where they were processing whale oil. And a factory that was located within just a few hundred yards of exactly where they hung the electric. Gus is, oh my God, hold on. Prior to interrupt. See that seagull out there?
Yeah.
He's making his main voice this season. No. His name is Gus.
Oh,
He works literally for peanuts. What?
Oh, that's
Gus. Yep, he's waiting. He's waiting. Go. Okay. Oh, now he's calling all of them.
Oh, he's dead. Look at that.
He's a greedy bird. We just want the peanuts for all
Well, you see,
of
Gus is letting us down. There's supposed to be a green sign on top of the yellow one that says Dead Horse Beach, and he's supposed to sit on top of that and keep it from being stolen. Well, Dead Horse Beach was named that because they had this huge fire back in 1914. A factory caught fire where they were processing blubber, right? They couldn't get it out. It's hot windy day. Attention to that factory. 2.5 days later, they finally get it out. But they had to have help with about 2 dozen surrounding cities and towns, many of whom were restaurant fire. The good news is we got the fire out. The bad news is we had 2 dozen dead horses in the middle of June 1940.
Bye, guys.
The decision was made to bring them all down here. They waited for low tide. They dug a big trench out there. Put all the dead horses in and covered it up, shook hands and said, "Job well done." Not really, because 2 days later those horses began to blow. They all came back one sure and they smelled horrible. So plan B was they found them up. They burned them with kerosene, put the remaining bones back into the trench, covered it up, and at that point renamed the beach from Downtown Beach to Dead Horse Beach.
Travis, okay ka na ba dyan sa ano na yan?
Returning service for the all ticket, the other way ticket, I chased many of them here. We were one trip to leave to avoid houses, so we could hurry up on folks who built these houses. Chris, our camp back here has been able to save when they visited the American, they're not a camp tuberculosis houses are left a little bit less expensive than the ones on the right because the ones on the right are right on the water. The Dodge Holland right there, bought by a Salem Massachusetts 2 years ago, November, for $486,000. Big all right coming out was rated at $896,000, by still almost going off for sale. Well, when they cured the disease, they just needed chronic care tuberculosis.
Ganda ng bahay, oh.
So they tore it down. That's where the contractor bought the property here and started digging the foundation. And almost immediately, you heard the folks screaming in there and saying, "What did you sell?" Every time they put a steam tube on the ground, they dig up human remains.
Oh, it's a hidden cemetery.
And they forgot to build the new owners. So we kept digging up. The good news is they managed to deal with it. Find better replace it. College bow on the right never gets more than 3 feet deep. I never see a serious bow in there. Those of you who are out of town, you've never know what a lobster cup looks like. That's what they look like.
Mommy, lobster!
The lobster crawls through the top and they're so sleepy they can't find their way out. I enjoy their favors by eating them. See how close they get to the houses here? Front yards? Nope. Side yards? Nope. Back yards? Nope. Big tall houses? Yep. Whole family in one house? Yep. Grandma, grandma here. Take a look to your right, folks. Right after the little store here, there's a green house coming up next to a yellow house. Look how close together these 2 houses are. Peter and I think it's the closest neighbors in Salem.
Closest neighbors in Salem. Wala ka pa sa Pilipinas. Kami ka na.
You better like your neighbors. On the left, the dark brown building with a white plaque. We encourage you to read the plaque when you see them. This one was built 1854, but catch this. 2 buildings later, right here, the green one, 1688. 1668, I'm sorry. Some lovely houses here, lovely cars out there. Only reason I know that's aubergine is when my son got married, that's the color my wife wore in a dress. She goes, "It's not cargo, it's aubergine." See the building right there? That's a bed and breakfast called Daniel's house. Roughly the same age as the house in the 1660s. Low ceilings, questionable plumbing.
Basketball court, tol.
Yay!
Yay! Take a look to your left, please, at the next intersection. See the great big rim.
Yan yung bahay, Mami?
That was called the Jacob Bailey High School at the very beginning of the movie.
The school.
Oh, the
Never
school.
a high school. It was always a grammar school.
It's the school.
Back then, as it is today, it was
Look at the playground.
Playground.
Can we please go there?
And then you see Salem Common having a lot of fun out there today. That is a beautiful place for the kids right there. Very nice. I wonder if I can fit in that. Absolutely not. See the flagpole, the bracket in front of it? That's because Barack Obama, he was nice enough to declare us to be the birthplace of the American National Guard, right? Why did he do that? Because we actually had the first military muster take place on that top of that early 1600s. Right about this time of year, we usually on the weekend will have a whole bunch of National Guard troops show up, and they parade, they play music, and they fire 7
half an hour now.
instead of going really far back to 6 o'clock.
Wow.
See the red brick building over yonder, below one across the street there, that's the Joseph Story House. He was the youngest Supreme Court justice in history at the age of 32.
Oh, wow.
Co-founder of the Harvard Law School. His daddy was the judge at the Harvard Bench trial. So a TV lawyer bought that house for a little over $1 million. He put about $1 million in it, and then sold it for free, right? But what I like best is there's an area outside the carriage house between the house and the main building where you can park vehicles. The first thing he did was have the whole thing installed, electric unit installed underneath. So when it snows, nobody shovels, he just flips the switch and it melts it off. I said, there's my kind of guy. What's going on in the comments? Some sort of family gathering. Looks like they got their food with them. Many a wedding, they take the wedding party over and take pictures of that little dance floor. The Bertram House coming up back there. This is the Witch Museum right here, one of the top 3 attractions in town, in my humble opinion. This used to be a universal Unitarian. That's why I don't like how they do it. This is Universal Unitarian Church, so guess what? It burned down, except for this beautiful front facade. Then it briefly became a car museum. Guess what? That burned down too, except for the little front facade. And now it's been the Witch Museum, well, about 30 years or so. It hasn't been a fire since. It's a beautiful ticket. You can actually buy a ticket for a specific time slot, like 2:10, 3:20, whatever. You sit in the middle of the church, they light up these dioramas. This is our statue of our founder again, Roger Conant, still not awake. Amen. See that house right there, ladies? The time it was built, it was the single most expensive house in America.
Oh, wow.
Right? Wow. Captain Andrews and his wife lived there originally. They had a little 4-room wooden house. Now, Captain Andrews used to trade furs with the Russians, which means he'd be gone 12 months, 18 months at a time. Story goes, he was leaving for one of his tours when it was still a 4-room house, and his wife said, "Why are you gone? Would you mind if I spruce the
One
house
of the
up?" He said, "No, no,
expensive house in America.
Now, being truthful, most of the money was hers. She had a big inheritance, but not all of it. So from that point on, anytime he set sail, he made damn sure he took her with him. Yeah, that's how you keep peace of the family, right? If you like coffee, I highly recommend the Blue Box right there. Really nicely run the place. You operate one.
And we're done.
Okay, that's the end of your
Mga pare ko, yun yung tour natin dito sa Salem. Okay, I hope na nag-enjoy kayo kasi kami rin nag-enjoy. So ngayon maghahanap na lang kami siguro ng mga pupuntahan namin para yung mga bata makapaglaro sa playground. At sisilipin ko yung mga thrift store, mga pare ko. Maraming salamat sa pagsama niyo sa amin. Kung nagustuhan niyo to, huwag niyo makakalimutan na mag-like, mag-comment down below, at syempre mag-subscribe, mga pare ko. Hit your notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa mga coming videos natin. Lalo na sa mga travel vlog natin na ganito. Mga pare ko, kita-kits tayo next time.